All right, test 1 2. Everything looks good, I think. Hopefully, everyone's having a glorious Tuesday, a tasty Tuesday that is. And I'm excited about this show. Is going to be a big fun one. I have a feeling. We're going to take a look at a different distillery that should be well known, in my opinion. Um, I've been lucky enough to have the 10-year um, Caledonia, I believe, was a version also, and I'll get into discussing more details with Malt here in a little bit. And the Balakan stuff, which is the heavily peated that I'm surprised hasn't been around that long. I think 2003 is when they started launching. I was kind of reviewing a little bit of their history. Edradour is who we're talking about. Highland Distillery. It's going to be, I think, a lot of fun to take a really close look uh, into a couple special ones. And these guys are owned by Signatory, which is a well-known independent bottling uh, deal. Hey, Peter and Juan, good to see you, man. You guys popped in at the same time. 12-year Caledonia, yeah. Aloha from Hawaii. Good to see you, man. And what's up with you, man? Good to see you, Conan. Yep. Good to see you coming in from Malt's show. And we'll be taking a look at one from him and one from myself tonight. He is going to start us out, I believe, with the Edradour 2008 10-year. It runs at 46%, and that one is Unchill Filtered Collection, I believe, is where he got this. I'm going to verify this before. And before we go farther, let me make sure he's got his invite sent to him. And we'll be looking at I need to ask him about the if this is the same bottle as what I think it is, and I believe it is because it's 10-year, it's 2008, the same 46% ABV. So I'm assuming that's going to be the same one. I'll verify. And then also, I was lucky enough to find a gem, surprisingly, what I think would be a gem from overseas, a 21-year-old Oloroso sherry cask finish from Edradour, which I didn't even know existed. For the longest time, I've been collecting, trying to get, really well aged representations from distillery makes first. I will get more into independent bottlings and things like that later on in the future. But building the collection up, I thought, you know what? I've definitely have dabbled from the 10s, the 12s, 15s, 18s, even on a lot of distilleries. How about the 21, 25-year options if they have them? Take a closer look at some of these guys. I've been eager to get into the weeds on some of these. And this one, for the longest time, I thought the 10. I saw a 12-year Caledonia. I saw some 10-year Balakan releases, but never saw anything well aged. I didn't even know it existed. And finally, I was scouring the interwebs and back and forth and this and there, and finally ran across a 21-year, and I about lost it. So I had to take the gamble. I better get the old price up here. Uh, I don't remember what I actually popped down. Thankfully, it wasn't crazy to get. Um, as far as I didn't have to get it in an auction or anything like that. Thankfully, but let me see if I can pull this off here. I see it, but it's not the right one. 1 second. That figures, doesn't it? I always find something, and then you get these crazy pop-ups with what they just drive me crazy. Now I'm sounding old. Let's try this one last time. In my search, I'm just looking, trying to see if I can find the previous time I bought this. There we go. Invoice. So we'll say 233 pounds. We'll do shipping with that too. So let's say we'll say 260 on the pounds, and in not kilograms. Don't like the kilograms. 360. It is pricey. It's not a cheap whiskey, but it is 21 years in age. So take that into account. And also, let's take into account. There's Mr. Malt mid puff.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Can you hear me okay, Telex? I cannot hear you.
Yeah, I hear you. You can't hear me? It should be coming through okay. Can you hear me now?
Hmm.
Well, I could hear him, but he couldn't hear me. He could not hear me. I think he'll be back in a second. um, can you guys hear okay? I think you can. You guys would have said something, I'm sure, earlier. I'm just verifying. Yeah, thanks. I'm a huge Porcupine Tree fan as well. Um, I think, let me get Malt in here. Let's try this again.
Hey, Telex,
Can you hear me okay?
can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you. All right.
Yeah, I could hear you before. It was a little bit strange, maybe, but maybe just the initial connection just wasn't, going well.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm good now.
Oh, you're perfect now, man.
Thank you.
But better clarity too, crystal clear.
All right. Excellent. What's up, buddy? How are you, man? Happy Tasty Tuesday.
Well, pretty good, but you're doing better than me because you're already sipping on something. Sorry to catch you mid sip there.
I am. I just was finishing up the happy hour show and excited to. I was talking with folks about this show tonight. I'm incredibly excited about this one, mostly because of the bottle that you provided, which is a 21-year-old freaking cast strength Edradour.
I'm also excited. Don't downplay what you brought though, because man, I never had this one. This 2008 10-year 46%, and is this the one? I was kind of trying to do a little homework. Is this the one that's the unchill filtered collection? From
yeah. So yeah, this is the signatory. Well, they're all signatory, but yeah. This is the unchill filtered collection, and I think they release one every year. And so yeah, this is the 2008. So there's a 2009, 10, whatever. I think there's 11. And this is just the 46% Edradours, but boy, they are really damn good. So I'm excited to get into that. But how have you been otherwise, man? Anything new in the last week since we last talked whiskey?
Been pretty good. Got to celebrate a little bit with an in-law on Easter. Finally got scheduled to get a shot later down the road, so I'm excited down that. I got to wait till April 16th to get the first one, and then thankfully a month later I get the second. But at least it's Moderna, so I have a good feeling about that. That made me feel pretty good. I'm going to be getting tomorrow is what I'm hoping. I might have to wait until Friday or Saturday or something. But this in the next couple of days is my trip up to Petite to pick up the Big Four, the Benriach Smoky 12 or 10, probably the Smoky 10, but not sure yet. A Speyburn 10, and the two big boys, the Glenallachie 25 and the Ballblair 83. Those are going to be really, I think, I have a perfect place for all of them.
In a box of samples to me.
Yeah, there will be a big part of that.
Pardon me just a sec, Telex. I gotta. Never mind. Okay, I thought something weird's going on. I was losing connection for a second. I thought I had to reset, but we're all good.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm already planning our next meetup probably in May. I'm thinking that between now and May, anytime really after I get this next delivery.
We should do that. Actually, because there's this actually might be our last meetup, bro. I'm officially going to be moving to Chicago.
Oh wow!
June or July. So we'll be back to using the old USPS or FedEx for our sample swaps. So we'll plan it out and make sure we set ourselves up well with this last one.
We don't know how we're going to do it, actually, but yeah, definitely not giving any heads up on salsa. That's for sure.
Yeah. Right.
But
we would never do anything like
we'll figure out
yeah.
some way to do something.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I mean, if you're happy in Chicago, man, that'd be awesome. I hope it definitely works out. You already have jobs ready lined up and all
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, it's the same job. My job has been remote for years, so I have this really like privilege to get to work kind of wherever I want, and so yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
it's time, and I got a lot of family real close to there in Milwaukee that I haven't really been seeing. I've been out on the East Coast for 5 years, and I got friends in Chicago, and so it's going to be nice to kind of quote unquote come home of sorts.
Yeah, it'll be great because you'll be far enough away, but close enough as well.
Yeah, Cohen, you just hit. I was literally just about to say what Cohen just texted or a comment that I'm gonna be the Binny's mule because Binny's is like a fantastic Chicagoland.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've heard about Benny's. I've never been to Benny's, but
Benny's is delicious. So I'm gonna be hyped about that. Yeah, it's gonna be good, and I'm gonna get there just in time for summer. I'm getting my Johnson & Johnson vaccine on Friday, and
nice.
It's gonna kind of fall into place a little bit. So it'll be good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That'll be awesome, man. Lucky you get the I was hoping to get that one because that one is just one and done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just take what we can get. You never, you can't be too choosy.
Just get this over with, fuck.
Exactly.
Cool, man. I mean, I have not got
You got a big. What's that big Ben Reich box? The Ben Romick box behind you. That white box on the right.
That's a 21. This is a 21.
Ooh, I can't wait to sink my teeth in that one sometime.
I haven't even opened it yet. Yeah, I got to get on that one. The one thing that I've gotten the last week, which I know I texted you about and I was just talking about on the happy hour, is this the
White Horse.
Rare gems that I've ever got. This is a Lagavulin 16 White Horse.
Oh, man.
The box is a little bit, tore up, but what do you expect? It's from like 1990. And
nice.
16-year-old Lagavulin White Horse.
Oh, man.
Meets all the specifications of a real bottle. And I couldn't believe that I got the opportunity to get this, but I had to take it. I don't know when I'm going to open it or what I'm going to do with it, but I'm just overjoyed to have such a cool bottle. And
there might be like a going away type of get together.
maybe that's what it'll be. Yeah, I leave the West Coast. The White Horse rides back to the Midwest. I'm a Midwest. I spent most of my life in Milwaukee. I lived there for upwards of 30 some years before I moved to the East Coast. So I'm excited. I am. I love it. Chicago's one of my favorite cities. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I may stay there for a little while and then go to LA. It was kind of the toss up between one of the two, and it's just better economically for me and kind of meets the needs. I do. I just miss family and friends.
It's a good launching point if you do end up in California anyway. It's kind of like you're halfway across anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Natural procession is what I like to think of it as.
Yeah. And so it'll be good. And we'll see. Maybe that gets cracked open. I don't know. It's who knows. I got lucky. I found it at a price that was like cheaper than it probably should have been, and I'm just happy to have gotten something that cool. So every once in a while you come across something, you got to jump on it.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to. Unfortunately, you'll have to buy a new bottle just to kind of compare it to and see.
Oh yeah, we have to do it. I mean, there would have to be a comparison video.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you do end up opening it, I'll break my arm and I'll buy a new bottle, and that way you have something to compare it to.
That's good. Oh man!
Sorry to put you on the spot, but
no,
it's just an idea. I had an idea floating in my head just now. Sorry.
Too good. No, it's great. That's a great idea. Oops. What are you gonna do? Yeah. All right. So should we get into our first whiskey tonight?
Sounds good to me, man. I'm so thirsty. It should be a thirsty, tasty Tuesday.
There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna get some of this in the glass. And then, I'll let you go first on this one as it's one of my pours, but I'll give you the tail of the tape here on kind of what we're looking at.
Definitely. I just poured it a little bit a while ago, so I
Great.
am ready when you are.
Great. So, Edradour, Scotland's little gem is what they call it. So this is a really interesting Highland distillery in Scotland for you if you don't know about it. It is actually owned by a independent bottler called Signatory. So Signatory owns Edradour. There are other examples of this. So Gordon MacPhail, for example, owns Benromic. And then there's examples the other way where, like, you look at Springbank, they own Cadenhead. So there are some independent bottlers that have a relationship with distilleries. In the States, Edradour, usually what you're going to see is the standard Edradour 10. It's kind of a short, stout bottle. And the Caledonia, which is Edradour releasing, it's 12 years, if I'm not mistaken. But overseas, particularly in the UK, there is just a rich array of incredible Edradours, including the two that we're going to be drinking tonight. So I do want to say off the bat, like, this one in particular is what I would say is probably one of the most accessible Edradours you can get shipped to you from overseas. It is not overly expensive. I mean, these generally are going to run you about $70-$80 plus shipping. So it's not like over the top, and that may like give people pause for a 10-year-old whiskey, but I can tell you the quality of what you're dealing with here is remarkable. Now, they do a lot of like ex-bourbon and ex-sherry. They also have a peated line called Balchin. The one that we're looking at in particular is this one. So it's, again, this is just the Signatory. It's one of many releases that they do. This one is 46% ABV. It is, cask number 165, 10 years old. It is unchill filtered in natural color, which is prominently on this label.
I love the fact that they call it the unchill filtered collection. That's
yeah. And actually, after we finish this, there's a question. A good. I don't know if you've heard the news about Glendronach, and them now are going to be chill filtering their whiskey. But we could talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
Oh no, I have not heard about that.
Yeah. It's a thing. So that's the tail of the tape here. I mean, we're looking at a heavily sherried, unchill filtered natural color 46% Edradour here. And again, these are not the most expensive bottles that you'll find. They do have more pricey ones. They have straight from the barrels. They have a bunch of other different labeled ones. This is a very, I guess, for lack of a better word, more common one you would see, particularly if you're shopping in UK market.
In answer to your question, Ben, yes, the ones that I've always seen, I've had outside of the two we're having tonight, I've also had about 3 or 4 other ones, and they're always typically for me. And I have seen some Sauternes cask matured, but I see mostly sherry cask or some sort of influencer finish on their whiskey, which is awesome for me. That's my favorite type anyway.
Yep.
So let's take a look at this sucker and see what we think, man. I love the even for 46, it's holding its shape really well.
Look at the collar on this,
and it looks like it's going to be a really good mouth coat too. That is a beautiful color for. I mean, only 10. That's insane.
Interesting. So Andrew Page just asked if we know the difference between the Signatory 10 and then that standard 10 you get here in the States. I don't. I've actually never had that 10-year-old that you see, kind of if you're going out to the liquor store. Have you ever had that?
The Edradour 10 I have had. I've had the 12 Caledonia, and I've had a Balchin 4 Oloroso before. Those are the 3 that come to mind.
Do you have any idea what the core difference is when it comes to the Edradour 10, like the one that's released in the States? I don't actually know.
Compared to this one, are you comparing this one with the other one?
Yeah. If you were comparing them,
I don't know. When we go through this, I'll tell you if anything kind of stands out as being different. But
great. Yeah.
I don't remember there being anything particular.
Yeah.
I don't remember what if the 10 was straight up bourbon or if there was like a
ex-sherry ex-bourbon. So I think that's the core difference is it's ex-sherry ex-bourbon, whereas this is full sherry.
That makes sense because there were sherry notes on their basic tin, but it definitely was not something that was like in your face, or that tasted older, like a 15-year kind of thing that you sometimes get with an ex-bourbon and ex-sherry cask maturation like together.
Yeah. All
Ooh.
right. So yeah, that's the rundown. I'll let you kick things off on this one, Telex.
Ooh, man, that's a nice nose.
Oh, ain't it though?
It's
Ain't
like
it?
it's a combination of like, wow, it's now when I describe some things to you guys, please don't take it as they're not negatives. They're just like nuances that I'm getting. And if you combine, even if these flavors don't make any sense to you, single style, try to think of them combined together to make something, great. So just keep that in mind. If I give you one of the first things I got from the nose was like a burnt rubber eraser with but like met with like really great fruit, like a really deep plum. It's kind of crazy to say it
Yeah.
that way, but there was just like this funky kind of thing there, but it was met with this ultra purple sweetness, and it makes sense together.
Yeah, there's a funk to this that is like the Dunnage Warehouse Springbanky type thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's you know what I'm saying?
exactly. It's not sulfuric by any means. It doesn't have a matchstick or a burnt kind of overly burnt. It's burnt, but this is more of like a sweet, balanced burning sensation than
Yeah.
something that's overcharred. This is like a wow. This has got some majorly nice earthiness to it too.
God, yeah. It's so much depth too. Like, I mean, it's so rich. Like you would think that this is a cask strength whiskey.
The funny thing about this too, just off the nose itself, I would love for someone like our buddy Stephen Connor. He's a really well versed whiskey connoisseur, I guess I should say, and I would love to see it, like blind him with this and see if he could tell me the age, because I really think it smells a lot older than it is. It reminds me of like between a 15 to 18-year-old type of nose because of those notes on there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you get a lot of there's some sweet fruit, but there's dried fruit. And that
There's a ton of dry fruit. Yeah.
Which makes you think like there's older stuff in here than a 10, perhaps.
And that funkiness that it's got like this antique type of smell going on.
Like it's like musty, like an old basement or something like that.
In a pleasant way, not like a mold
warehouse. I mean, it's the Dunnage Warehouse thing, like Springbank or Ben Romick.
Yeah, it's pleasant. It's not like a mold spory, like overly funky way where you're kind of like off put, like a cork taint kind of thing. It's not like that at all. It's more of a. It's got a nice deep spiciness to the nose too for me.
Yeah,
I'm getting like I'm trying to get down to the spice level to pick out the spice, but man, it's definitely on the. It's not as sharp as a cinnamon. It's not as. It's more closer to nutmeg, but it's different. It's more of
yeah.
It's like a floral spice. It has like a floral property and a spice kind of balance mixed together. It's like if the lilac met some sort of spicy. Oh, what is that? It's like almost like fresh laundry, and the spice is what I'm trying to get at, though, to describe it. That's what I'm hitting a wall. How would you describe the spice in that nose at all? If you could like think of a word.
It's anise and allspice.
Yeah.
There's an anise note, like a licoricey-ness to it.
Yeah, star anise kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's. Yeah, I would also say there's a hint of like, what you call like sandalwood.
Yeah, you nailed it. Because it's funny because it's like it's like a trifecta.
Like Mizunara almost. Like there's like that kind of thing. Yeah.
it's got a trifecta thing. It's got the sandalwood because it's got this woody note that I couldn't really get my head around. It had a really nice floral note, and I kind of I get lilacs from it for some reason. And then that third prong is that what was the first thing you said? Not the sandalwood or the lilac, the other note.
The anise.
The anise. With those three things together, man, and you add that Concord grape plum. It's a really nice nose.
Interesting that you mentioned the plum. I really get a lot of these like funky, like somebody, John or Pass just said barnyard funk. I mean, that is absolutely hits the nail on the head. Cohen said dunnage funk. Yeah. I mean, there's just this earthy kind of just dankness to it that I think separates this from a lot of other just like heavily first-fill sherry whiskeys. I mean, it's just so, yeah.
Yeah, you'll never get this out of a Glendronach, I don't think, or a Glenfarclas even, because Glenfarclas's, their funk is more of a sulfuric funk for me. This is definitely more of an earthy funk, like a spring. This is definitely on the closer edge to the Springbank realm than the other Highlands, like, well, Springbank's a Campbelltown, so that definitely is different in itself. But the other Highlands like Glendronach and other ones, it's like it's definitely different. This to me reminds me more of a Campbelltown drink than a Highland drink.
Yeah,
in a great way, because I am typically gravitate towards Campbelltown for that reason.
Yeah, I agree.
It's changing too, which is really nice. It's showing me some complexity. Now I'm getting like a tobacco.
Yeah, for sure. You nailed it. And leather.
Yeah.
This is
like old leather.
Yeah. You said antique earlier. Like that word will like bring up different thoughts for everybody, but it's still like kind of centered on the same thing. Which is what I think is like so, unique about that.
I am enjoying it, Greg. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us. If you can get your hands on this, I would say so far. Now I haven't even got to the palate yet. The nose enough for me is giving me a hell of a nice ride. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Man, it's really nice.
It's bouncing from the florals to the sweetness to the spiciness to the earthiness. It's really well balanced. The only note I don't get off the nose, and I'm not saying it's missing, but there aren't any really like a tart or sour type of notes I'm getting off the nose. But thank God, because if there was, it would probably be overly muddled and disjointed if it got too crazy. But for what they got going together, it makes perfect sense to me so far.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree.
It's sippy time.
Let's do it. Happy Tasty Tuesday. Sláinte.
Sláinte, guys. Okay. That is different. Wow. Okay.
It's like, I'll let you go first, but I have to mention.
Go ahead.
This whiskey, it's like I don't want to say Springbank. It's like I can't even say it's funkier than a Hazelburn.
Oh yeah,
but it's not as funky as a Springbank. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
there's another element to this of which I'll let you do your notes first, but like that's really just fascinating. It has a dynamic. It has a dynamic that's just so different from what you'd expect from a full sherry whiskey all the time.
That is such a different palate. I wasn't expecting that at all. In not a bad way, but it's not what I expected either. It's kind of wild. One of the first notes I got was kind of like a sourness. It's weird. I didn't get any of that off the nose, but on the palate, let me have one more quick taste. I'm getting a lot of bourbon actually cast qualities off the taste compared to the nose. Like the nose, I was getting a dry fruit and all that, and now I'm getting like a really nice wave of almost like a treacle with a like a thick molasses with a caramelization and a butterscotch, and I'm getting a lot of these notes. And there is like the fruit comes in afterward. It's like very,
Really?
very dried. Yeah, I'm getting like a really dry fruit that comes in afterward.
That's so interesting. I mean,
Like
I'm having a very different experience than you. To me, like I see what you're saying about like the molassesy kind of dark brown sugar note, but for me, this is all fruit. It's dark fruits. It is dates, it's figs, it's raisin, it's blackberry. It's like really dark and really dry. Like it's a big flavor event, but it's dried fruits, you know.
now I'm getting the raisinettes. Okay, now I'm getting more of the on the. It's funny because maybe that's what threw me off because I'm not a blackberry fan, and I was getting some like really earthy berry notes that haven't had from a whiskey before, and I was like, I'll be honest with you, man, I wasn't sure if I liked the palate at all first because it was so there was something about it, but now that you said blackberry, that makes perfect sense of why I was kind of like, ah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I do think the nose doesn't completely translate over to the palate, but I really like this, and for like it's just different. It's just different. I mean, you compare this to like Abana or whatever, like other just like heavy sherry, like all sherry. This is more like Glendronach Allardyce than it is like Aberlour or Abana,
Oh yeah,
where it's the darker notes. I don't quite get it into the or I don't quite get as much of the bourbon stuff as you are. I do get some mint chocolate chip ice cream kind of thing on the end with like on the finish with some nice kind of dry dark fruits. I mean, this is a Christmassy whiskey in the sense of like there's a bit of juiciness that's undefined that hangs through it, but these are dark, dry fruit notes on this.
I just got more of the chocolate, like the chip, kind of like a really nice chocolate chip.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get the mint. I'm going for the mint. I'm not getting it yet, but it's funny. I should have said I wasn't sure what this was because I was getting a note that I couldn't really describe in the beginning, and at first I thought, well, there's no berries here. What is this? I couldn't really describe it. When you said blackberry, that made perfect sense because now I'm getting like a dark chocolate covered blackberry, like raisinette kind of things going on. That's wild, man.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Let me have another. Wow, it's. Even though it's a little, it does have a dryness. Thankfully, it's not drying me out. I do like that. And the finish lasts actually for pretty good long time. It's got a really nice waxy mouth coat to the finish too.
Yeah.
Man, if I was a blackberry fan, I'd be all over this. I like it's funny because the more I'm tasting it, the more I'm liking it.
Yeah,
it's funny, like even though that note is kind of just one of those subjective things. I'm not saying it's a great whiskey. It's one of those notes that I'm kind of getting myself like more accustomed to. It does work with that dark chocolate, though. I think without the dark chocolate, I might not like it as much. But with that and the dry waxiness, man, that is pretty nice, I have to say. I have to have a little more with some water on the side here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some water too. Let me find my little device. There it is.
Yeah, I've got a little. I love using these little droppers, basically.
Yeah, sure.
The eyedroppers, if you got them, those are always good too. For people that are kind of getting into it, to starting out, and they're not sure what to use, and they don't want to use the spoons to overwater things, which can be easy to do when you're using those spoons. That's what I started out using, where any kind of spoon I could get my hands on.
Oh man, the nose on this is so fucking good, man. It's just, again, like, you have to. I'll save it for my final thoughts. I'll wait.
Hey, wait till he has this 21. He might actually lose control.
That 21 is going to be. I mean, come on, right?
You're in for a treat. If you like this one a lot, which I can tell you do, and I do like it a lot too, you're really going to like, I think, this next one too, man. It's going to be interesting to get your thoughts. Yeah, I adore. Wow, the nose on this is something special. The first thing I got, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but it's like basil. That's great. That's just wild. Like a basil with a little garlic, and it's almost, now it's going on savory. Yeah, it's like savory for me. It's good. It's like reminds me of like a really nice Italian restaurant. You go open the door and you get all that. Oh man.
Telex is finding some stuff in here, man.
Buttered bread, and man, I love it.
Yeah, shit, that's nice, dude. I'll tell you, yeah, the
figs are still there, thankfully.
Yeah,
it's bringing out a little bit of more of the caramel on the nose. Now the bourbon notes that I was getting before on the palate are actually coming through on the nose, which is kind of nice too. I
dig it.
For 46, it does not taste hot at all. I'm surprised.
Not at all.
That's good, man. Wow. The spice is still there. Now it's more of a nutmeggy kind of a spice, a sweeter spice. Effervescence is really nice on the palate, on the finish too. After the water, it really wakes it up a bit.
The mint chocolate chip ice cream thing is there. It's like quality milk chocolate. It ain't Hershey, you know. It's just deep and delicious.
Yeah, it's almost like if there was this state of chocolate that was between your milk and your dark, like a really solid semi-sweet chocolate. That's what it reminds me of. Like a baking chocolate type of thing. Wow.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of dustiness to it too. You know?
I love that spicy waxiness you get after on the finish.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Telex? Are you final thought ready, or you need a little more time?
I've got a mouthful of s'mores, man. I'm enjoying it. I got this like marshmallowy graham cracker, dark chocolate. Almost like a hot fudge sundae kind of thing going on. That's crazy.
It's interesting you say that, yeah.
Like one of those old school Shoney's. Have you ever had the hot fudge cake where you get the cake and a little bit of
like a lava cake? Yeah. Totally. It's just a great bottle, man. You're gonna get a high score on it. That's all I'm saying. It's a really good bottle.
I can't believe how good this is for a 10-year, man. This is insane.
For real.
It tastes like, okay, this is what really blows my mind. Somehow they found a way to make this at 46, but yet make it taste like it has the intensity, the power of a 48%, but it doesn't taste like you can't taste the alcohol in it. It's the casks here are so damn good. It's single Oloroso sherry cask is all they really tell you about this, but man, it's if it's not first fill, dude, it's like second fill, like,
yeah, for sure,
without a doubt, you know.
I do apologize. I've had some urgent messages I've had to handle.
Oh, that's okay. I know how it goes, man.
It's all good.
I am kind of shocked at how good this is coming out. Let me see if I have any left, or did I drink it all already? I think I might have. I'm down to like a couple last little drops out of the bottle here. I'm gonna have to get my own bottle, man, on this one. I have a feeling because that was really enjoyable. What does this one run?
So that's the best part about this. I mean, this is like, so you have to. This is mostly in the UK. These are like some of the lower end of the Edradour range stuff that you'll find. You'll get a bottle of this. You can get it shipped worldwide depending on where you're at. Cheers, Good Pill.
Very nice of you. Sorry.
Cheers, buddy. These are like $80 US, 85.
That's it. Wow, man. This
so
is
with shipping, you might pay $100, but you know, of course, if you go less, you buy more, you'll pay less for shipping.
Definitely.
I'll be honest. Even at that price, if you poured this blind and said this is $100 whiskey,
sold.
I would buy it. I would buy it. Yeah.
I would I would go as high as 120. I think for that bottle. That's how good that was. I think even and what makes me recognize how good of a whiskey this is I'll be honest with you. I fucking hate blackberries. I would drop kick a blackberry from here to Mars if I could. so that tells you that for me to like the whiskey, even though it's got that the flavor that I should hate, and for me to get into it, I think the dark chocolate really balanced all the things that I might not like by itself, but man, it brought everything together with the spice level, the sweetness from the caramelization, the bourbon, you know, even though this is, I know, all like single Oloroso sherry, there's some really nice bourbon-esque type of notes going on with this. I think that makes it even more complex and more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to go first on a score?
My bottle, you go first.
This is solid, man. I mean, it's really hard to fault these guys. Like I said before, you guys came on Malt came over from his other show. These are one of my favorites as far as small underground, not well-known distilleries that should be well-known. I'm really kind of glad they're underground because it's easier to get really good prices, and you know, you don't have to fight, you know, other whiskey fans to get a really good bottle of this now, like you do with Macallan and other big brands. But I tell you what, man, if anyone needs to be a big brand, this is, I think, the one to do it. I've never had a bad or faulty or a not you know, a subpar bottle of whiskey from Edradour at all, and this has got probably my fifth and sixth different one from them. This really proves the point that anything that these guys release, it seems like, even if it's not something that you're really into, you're going to find a lot of things to really like about it. Ah, man, I'm talking myself into a high score for this. But it's unchill filtered. You know, that's a great thing.
Color, 46.
Natural color. It's got an age statement of 10 years. It's a great ABV. So we're already well above average, and for me, 3 is average. So we're already floating around a 3.75 to a 4, and that's where I'm trying to. I mean, that was so tasty, and even though it was drying, it didn't leave me out too dry. Oh man, I'm really close to I'm thinking 4 out of 5 on that one, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna, yeah. Telex's excitement is shared by me. This is a great whiskey, and they do in the release of this each year. Again, it is a little pricier than your average, and you would have to get it online. But the complexity, the richness, the full flavor, the just absolute deliciousness of this, the dynamism. I don't want to say Springbanky, but I want to say it's like Glen Scotia, like in the fact that you get a earthen funk to it from the, you know, Dunnage Warehouse stuff, which I think Cohen had mentioned. This is a intermediate level whiskey drinkers like go-to daily dram type thing. It's that good. It is full of flavor. I I can't say anything negative about this. Like the fact that this is a 10-year-old whiskey, when I think about other 10s that I've had, it's just uncomparable. High praise for this. I am also a 4 out of 5 on this. I think this is, I am close to a 4.25. I'm going to stick at 4.25 just because of the, for US people, this is international shipping ain't cheap. But this is just a whiskey you need in your life, especially if you like big sherry bombs, especially if you're a fan of like Glendronach 18 Allardyce. You want an alternative to an Allardyce. This is an alternative to an Allardyce.
Oh, yeah.
It has the dark notes. It has that richness that you love out of the Allardyce, but don't want to pay, almost $200 for it. I think this is a great whiskey. It's mature beyond its years. Yeah, I'm 4.5.
I wonder. I don't blame you at all, man. It deserves applause. That's how good that 10-year whiskey is, and
it's fantastic. And again, I just want to add one other addendum. It's like on my happy hour tonight on my channel, we were talking about Octomore, and Octomore is very expensive, and I don't want to talk about the price point, but what I want to do is lift up what makes Octomore, I think, as good as it is. And it comes down to casks. Young whiskey, with a young whiskey especially, like it comes down to cask quality. And what you're getting out of this Signatory Unfiltered collection is a high cask quality. Like that's, I think, even more important than an age statement. Said it. It's about cask quality, and like this is a wise beyond its years 10-year whiskey. You drink this blind, you would probably guess it was older, and that's a testament to just the craft and quality of this. I'm a 4 out of 5 all day. I highly recommend people get it.
And for you guys that are like real big on the not wanting to taste the new make in a whiskey that's a certain age, you will not get that out of this whiskey. I will guarantee you that. There's nothing that smells or tastes new that I could pull out. I mean, there's a little bit of that burnt rubbery, but I wouldn't go as far as like Bondo, or there wasn't any modeling clay going on in this whiskey that I, got overly heavy notes on like you do with some of the younger ones. And this is why I would love to like blind test some people that were, been around the block a few times to see what they thought the age was on that. Because to me, it's like 5 years older than what it should be. As far it tastes and smells 5 years older than what it's supposed to be.
Easily.
It's pretty crazy.
Easily. Yeah, easily. I mean, it's that good. And I mean, again, like I honestly struggle to think about a whiskey, a big sherry bomb like this. I think this can go toe-to-toe with a Glendronach Revival. I think this can go toe-to-toe with whiskeys that are, Abuna maybe. I think this is more interesting than any Abuna I've had.
Yeah, it's like that. When I think of it, Abuna and some of those like the Big Pete Christmas edition and some of those whiskeys that they're definitely fruitcakes in a dram. But that's really, you might get some nice, clove cigarette finishes or some star anise or some things like that. But to get it in the perfect package with everything, with the ABV being right, the notes making the most sense in a balanced way, a great, no chill filtering, no coloring, no bullshit. It's all perfectly presented. This is to me as good as Revival / that type of that it's in the realm. I'm not going to say it's better, I guess, than the Revival, but it's definitely
it's right there, man. No doubt.
It's right there in the same area, I'd say.
No doubt. Speaking of chill filtering, I'm going to go and fill up my water here and then pour out the 21. But I do want to chat with you about a very specific topic related to chill filtering when I return. If you're for it. All right, I'll be right back.
All right, man. That sounds good to me. I appreciate it. We're gonna do. I'm surprised that Glendronach is gonna be chill filtering some stuff. We'll have to get into that because I did not know that was going to be coming. Let me go back and see what Dustin said about what was that on the cast deal. But Octomore also uses an exceptionally narrow cut. That's a big deal too. That's true. Yeah, because if you, it's kind of like the signal strength of something. It's more defined, so you're going to get a much better. I'm not sure if yield is the word for it, but a better potent batch that way, I guess you could say. ECBPs and don't really need buy a release. Yeah, they're talking about some bourbon. It sounds like. Yeah. Good to see you there, Chris Beaton. We're going to be getting into a 21 year after we talk about chill filtration here a little bit. The Jag Stag Junior Batch 15 cost me retail plus. Oh my lordy lord, man, that's crazy. Senatorial does a great independent bottlings of an Ardmore 10-year 2009 cast strength, which was one of the best Highland peated whiskeys I've had this year. Wow. Now that's saying something. That's saying a lot in itself. I'm going to have to do a little more research, because I do agree. Like the ones that I've had that are signatory have been good, but I haven't had a boatload of their stuff outside of the regular Edradour bottles. That's the funny thing, because I've dabbled into like Portishead, signatory, Cadence Heads, El Delphi, exclusive malts, Boutique. You know, some of those guys I've been dabbled, but I haven't really gotten into Ardmore yet either. So that I'll have to keep on the radar when I'm looking for after I get an Ardmore distillery bottle, which is on my radar soon. When I go for the independence, I might have to try to find this particular one since you thought that was a really damn good one. It sounds like. What is it about that you thought was so special, Andrew? I'm just curious. I do have the 20-year-old distillery on my radar, but I'm not sure about the independence. But this one sounds pretty good. I'm a sucker for cast strength if I can get it that way. 10 is fine if it makes sense, and sometimes if the peat's good, which it sounds like you like the quality of their peat. What was it reminiscent of, like other non-islet peated offerings, or what on that one? Let me get Malt back in here.
Hey.
I was just kind of going through a couple of the comments real fast. How does the 2008 stack up against the 10 cast strength batch 3? Oh gosh, Peter, you're getting to really ultra specifics. I had a Glenallachie 10. I can't remember if it was a certain batch, and I might have been I was thinking that the 10 was a PX release, but maybe I'm thinking of something different. Is the Glenallachie 10 usually a
cast strength? Well, they change. Sometimes they're like 4 maturations. Sometimes it's 2 or 3. It's all over the place.
Is it PX usually, though?
I don't know if there's any batches that are PX. I don't know. I know the batches come out slower here in the U.S., so I'm not sure.
I'll have to do a little research on what I had, Peter, to give you an honest answer. But just going by memories of Glenalleckies that I've had, I have had a 10. One of this, maybe I'm confusing it with the Deanston 10 PX. I think I'm confusing it with the Deanston 10 PX actually. Glenallachie 10 cast strength. I'm not sure if I've actually had that release or not, Peter. Have you had that one, Malt?
I've not had batch 3. I have batch 2. I've heard batch 3 and 4 are fantastic, and 2 is really good too. Yeah, no, we're gonna get into it soon enough, though. I do have a bottle of it.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, that sounds good to me. Looks like
White Horse, that Lagavulin White Horse. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Oh yeah.
I have to ask you. So news has come, and I think this is a good thing to chat about while I let this Edradour 21 sit. I will say, unfortunately, I'm going to probably have to sign off at about 10:30. I have to deal with some business-related calls. I apologize for that, but I do want to prompt this question to you. So, news has come out that GlenDronach is going to begin chill filtering their whiskeys.
Wow, man!
Yeah. And I was tipped off to this by Alan from the Whiskey Friend, and then some other folks in the chat on Happy Hour were talking about this. I'm curious what your reaction is to it. Given, I mean, like it's interesting, right? Like a lot of their whiskeys are 46% already, but um, yeah, I mean, while you're seeing so many distilleries go in one direction, right? I mean, look at Glenallachie. You even have things like Glenmorangie putting out a 14. Like age stating some of their stuff. Like to see this happen is ridiculous, in my opinion. And I'm one of the people that thinks that if you have to do one, you put the fake color in before the chill filtration. Hello, Glengoyne. That said, they've become Glendronach has become, other than like their 12 and 15, have become so pricey that I'm not buying it anyway. So this is just another reason not to. Plus, it's not going to be as old as it was last year and this year.
Yeah,
the whole thing. But like, what a shitty news to hear.
Did they say the reasoning of why they're deciding all of a sudden to do chill
No,
filtration?
I don't know more than, I mean, I've heard it confirmed by like 5 or 6 people. That's what's happening.
Yeah, Stephen was saying the same thing, that he was mad as hell about hearing about this filtration issue. Wow. I'm surprised I haven't heard about this, but I haven't been really keeping close tabs on some of these distilleries like I usually do. With that said, though, I'm really kind of curious to see why, because this is the first time after we've, and Ralphie, not Ralphie, but Aquavite said it best recently, where he has seen a gradual shift towards more age statements and
right. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the craft nature of things seems to be moving that direction, and yet we see Glendronach going apparently in the opposite.
So my biggest question would be, what would be the big benefit in doing that, unless you've gotten, I mean, if you've, and I doubt Glendronach's received this, but if you've gotten a lot of complaints about your whiskey having clouds and water added.
This is the thing, and Telex, you just hit it, and I want to riff on this for a second. The fundamental premise behind the logic of why you would chill filter a whiskey is this idea that like somehow you want to have some type of consistency and you don't want to put customers off. Here's the thing. Name a scenario in which John Q. Public pays for a Glendronach whiskey and will A, either notice the cloudiness, or B, be turned off by it. So let's say there's 2 scenarios that come up. One, they order a cocktail and get Glendronach in it. You're not going to notice the cloudiness. And second, if they order it neat, they probably already know what the fuck they're drinking. And once you taste it, you're not going to care. So like, what is the logic of this? There's not any logic of this. It's not changing price. Maybe it's because they're trying to go into another market, as somebody on my live show said. Like that could be, but like there's no logic to chill filtration ever, in my opinion. Like there's no logic to it. I mean, there's no logic to coloring either. I mean, Lafroig 10 colors their whiskey, but they put it in a green bottle. Once it's in the glass, like you've already bought it. Why would the color matter if you've tasted it? It's nonsense. But like this idea that somehow anybody that would notice chill filtration, in my opinion, would inherently be somebody who's looking for it. And therefore, like, what cocktail are you putting a Glendronach 18 Allardyce in? And you shouldn't do it. Like, why are you doing that? It's a like really stupid. It's stupid. I don't know if it's just like, this is like just how things have been. And so there's like these old heads who are like adhering to this logic. But like, I don't understand how they think that somehow that is going to attribute to higher market sale. Like, who's buying Glendronach 18 Allardyce? Who's buying Glendronach 21? It ain't the dude down the street. And I guarantee you they don't give a fuck about coloring. Who even notices, or like cloudiness rather, not clouding. Who even notices this? That's all I want to say. So my general point is Glendronach has become too expensive already. So I'm not buying it. And this is just another reason, like, I'll just eschew it. Fuck that.
Stephen was saying that this is the reason why Glendronach publicly said it, but it doesn't make any sense to me either. It's like we have removed it from our
Quote,
packaging
quote,
to provide flexibility. Flexibility for doing what? I mean, the only reason I could think of is that the machine that they use, and I'm getting really basic here. Maybe the machine they use to process it without chill filtration's broken, and they have to use one that does chill filter it. I mean, I'm trying to logically put my head around. Like, I'm trying to think like a Vulcan. What is the logical reason why they would do such a fucked up thing?
There's no logic. I guarantee you, like, if you're ordering a Scotch whiskey of that magnitude at a bar and the bartender can't tell you about chill filtration, you shouldn't be at that bar. If they can't explain to you why you're ordering a bottle that has cloudiness, then you shouldn't be at that bar because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And the fact that you're even going to notice it, is so minuscule. I cannot think of a use case in which chill filtration actually somehow can equate. And you know, maybe there's data. I'm not a marketing analyst. I don't know. Maybe these people know more than I do. I'm sure they do. But like, this is a choice based on some type of like just hyper capitalist profit over anything motive. And that's not a dig on capital. You know what I'm saying though? Like you're doing this for like a reason that you're already believing in. Like there's no factual data that I've ever seen to back this up. And we know for a fact, you can go on Highland Park's YouTube page right now and look at their video of the Highland Park Cask Strength and the Highland Park 21, where the master distiller explicitly says, we don't chill filter this to provide the most natural and full flavor. They like, this is well known. So the idea that you would like go to it, it's to chill filter, given that like the market of people who are buying this whiskey aren't going to give a fuck, is just blows my mind. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading what Dustin and Steven were saying. That's spot on. I think either it's got to be one of two things. Either A, Dustin's right, and there's some really, unfortunately, vocal, expressive morons out there that are, you know, getting Glendronach for some reason to change the way they're doing it. But I'm hoping this is what I think Peter White might be on to something. Maybe it's maintenance where they have to like.
Yeah, I mean.
They have to. Maybe they're pigeonholed where they're thinking, okay, guys, we can't tell the public that we don't have the machinery or the industrial fortitude to give it to them without. But I'd rather you tell me the truth and try to lie to, you know, don't lie to me.
But that's the other thing is it's like, how the fuck do they not have the machinery for this? That whiskey has been growing leaps and bounds. Glendronach is trying to compete with Macallan. Like their market share. I mean, show me that their market share has dropped so much that they can't afford to not chill filter their whiskey. Like, fuck that. I don't buy it at all. This is like a weird. It's a power move based on like, it's a move based on profit motive spliced with bad, antiquated ideas, and they think they can just do it and get away with it. Like, I just don't get it.
Oh man, what if this is true? Dustin's saying that he's pretty sure he's heard Aaron is doing the same thing, dropping the whole non-chill filter thing. But that's crazy because I mean, I hope I'm not saying that you're wrong, Dustin, but I'm hoping that you are because they just released this new line recently, like within the last year, and all their boxes are prominently state no chill filtering on the natural color on the label. If they are changing it, since they just changed this new lineup, I'm sure that this would be good for them for 3 years at least minimum. You would think, right?
Yeah, you're totally right. I'm 100% agree with you. Here's the thing. This is the last thing I'll say about Glendronach. The fundamental premise here is that chill filtration impedes profit, right? So the majority of people who are buying a Glendronach product, this is just going to be my guess, they are not buying the Allardyce or the $230 Parliament. So the idea that John Q. Public, who doesn't know shit about Scotch, is going to see a label that says non-chill filtered and be turned away by it, or is going to notice cloudiness in the whiskey that they're drinking neat or on ice is somehow going to lead to lower rebuy value is a preposterous assumption. I'm sorry. Like if there's evidence for this, they should just release it. Or I don't get that at all. Because just like Ardbeg 10, which Ardbeg is huge. And Ardbeg is like the bourbon of scotches, right? Like the bourbon, go crazy for it. It ain't because they don't chill filter their stuff. Lefroy does. Like, do you think if Lefroy started unchill filtering the Lefroy 10 or not stop putting color in it, people would buy it at a less rate? I would test that hypothesis any day of the week. Because if the idea is that you're selling the whiskey to people who don't know shit about whiskey, then they're not going to notice or care in the first place. The people who will notice and care are people like us who enjoy a fucking glass of Allardyce, who enjoy a glass of Parliament. And the idea that you're going to start stripping it of its flavor, which we know for a fact removes flavor and texture, is a stupid move.
Yeah, what's weird is Jean. If I'm butchering your pronunciation, please forgive me. I'm assuming it's Jean, but Jean is saying that I also heard at Glendronach is maybe rebrand their core range, new look and all. And I agree with Silver Law because they're beautiful. Their labels are beautiful the way they are. Why would they want to change it? Is this the? I'm trying to remember back. There's been so many moves on master distillers and people going from one brand to another. Is Rachel Berry currently at Glendronach, or where is she at now? Is it Ben Riach or both?
Ben Riach and I think Glendronach are owned by the same people.
And she's there now, presently, correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding. I don't know if she's moved from there.
Now, look, I have nothing against ladies that do master distillation. I'm sure there's a billion.
It has nothing to do with that. Yeah.
Right. I just want to preface my comment I'm about to make here. I have no issues with ladies doing master distillation. I think there are probably fantastic ones out there. I'm only using her as an example because she is the face and the master distiller of Glendronach and Ben Riach at this present time. Now, if you look at her history, she's come from Bowmore, and I don't know if she is the primary reason why it went downhill, but there were some issues with Bowmore, and now she's coming over to Glendronach and Ben Riach, which have had two prominent, high esteemed distilleries, and now we're seeing this downturn. Is there something with this lady that is just like a cancer that's following her around, or what?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's kind of scaring me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hard pressed to know that there's any logical reason to do this other than a crude profit-based motive, and with that implies a lack of care about quality. It's disappointing, but I'll be honest with you. I have not planned to buy any new Glendronachs anyways because they're too goddamn expensive.
Oh yeah.
There are other better things in the market at that price, and this is just another reason not to do it. Sad news, but yeah, you would hope that they were going in the same direction. I mean, you have Glenallachie coming after you to compete with you in the market. And what is Glenallachie doing? They're not changing their stuff. I mean, in fact, if anything, they're, I'm not saying that their whiskey's better at this point.
But that's Billy Porter. Didn't he go from Glenallachie? I'm sorry, didn't he go from one to the other? Like, isn't he with Glenallachie now?
Yeah, Billy Walker's Glenallachie. Yeah.
And Billy Walker used to be Glendronach, right? Before that?
Shoot, I don't know. Possibly. Somebody in the chat can tell us.
I wonder where he came from, because I could have sworn that he was the old school guy and went over there, and then they did this whole, moving around. But I'm hoping Steven's right. Hopefully it's all a Brown Foreman issue and not a Rachel Berry issue at all, because he's almost 100% positive, so that's a good thing. I know how Dustin feels.
yeah, he's right. They're idiots.
They're scary, man. Yes, Bill. Isn't it funny that Billy Walker was Glendronach? He leaves. He goes to Glenallachie, is gonna build this freaking empire, and
Hey, man, I mean,
he's gonna
at
come
least,
back. He's gonna come back, and he's gonna kick the ass of his old team. That's what's gonna happen.
at least Jim McEwen, at least Brooke Lottie didn't decide, well, now that Jim's gone, we're going to just chill filter all our whiskey and turn it down and make Brooke Lottie just another, shit sample. It's good. Anyways,
I hope not,
speaking of
man.
whiskeys that are not chill filtered and whiskeys that are still maintaining a high quality level, in the glass here we have a Edradour 21.
Yeah, let's get focused.
What is the tail of the tape on this?
All right, guys. This was I consider a lucky find. I was scouring for I'm on a whiskey journey to try to get some really nice, well-aged distillery releases first before I go over to the independent side and do a lot more, soul searching there. With that said, I found the 10, the 12, some Balakin 10-year-olds. Could never find like a really old Edradour, and finally stumbled across this gem. This is the 21-year-old. It's from 1995. It's an Oloroso finish. And 1 second. It's 56.2% ABV, cast strength, 21 year. It's insane. I got excited, but just knowing that part of it, and then the fact that I could get it, it's not cheap by any means. We're talking £260. You can still find this if you're lucky, which is about, I think, $350-ish. But you got to remember, we're talking cast strength 21-year whiskey. So even though it sounds a bit pricey, which it is, I think we're talking.
What is that? Oh my God, man! It's blood. It's blood red.
That is the bloodiest, readiest, beautiful dram I've poured in quite a while. And this is after dealing with the Macallan 18. It's after dealing with the Glendronach 21. Yeah. It's after dealing with, comparative whiskeys from that range. Balvenie 21's a port, but it's in that same kind of area. But I'm trying to think of another really well-aged Oloroso. Oh, Deanston 20-year-old we took a look at.
Yeah.
This is. I'm gonna let Malt do his thing.
Yeah, and thank you, Telex, for this generous sample. I mean, I will tell you right away, it is rich, it is complex, it is warm, it is Christmas in a glass. It is similar to the 10 on the nose, with a very big exception that there's no sweetness. The sweetness, not no sweetness, but that sweet, bright red fruit that you were getting here is gone on this. I mean, it is all dark, dry red fruits. There is a nice spice. There's gingerbread. There is clove. There's nutmeg. It's wonderful.
Oh man, I love the cloves and you nailed it with the gingerbread, man, on this.
And orange peel,
Oh yeah. There's a really nice citrus zest that's going on that brightens it up with all the dried fruit that's going on.
Incredibly nice legs. This is when you said this is cast strength. I'll tell you, I'm putting my nose entirely in this, and we're not picking up heavy alcohol notes. There's a slight mint, but it's very, very slight. There's, this is, again, this is right where it needs to be.
And I'm getting like that little bit of. I mean, it might not be as in your face, but are you still getting that dunnage kind of that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the funk is there for sure.
It's not sulfuric though.
Yeah, no, it's not sulfuric at all, and it's much more subdued even than the 10. And the 10 it wasn't strong, but on this it's like even more subtle, which is just fantastic. There is some vanilla. There's some what is that? There's like a light it's almost like you ever had Vicks Vapor Rub?
Oh yeah.
Like not the deep smell of it, but if you smell it from afar and it's just like a fresh wave of coolness, there's some of that coming through here. It smells delicious, man.
Go back in for another nose and tell me if you get like an almond cashew kind of a thing that's going on. Like a slightly not bitter but slightly bitter kind of an almond note.
There's maybe a little bit of almond. It's not. It's very slight, if
It's
anything.
very, yeah, it's more on the.
It's hard for me to say.
It's very subtle, but I was getting this almondy cashew kind of combination on the earthiness of the nose.
Wow. All right. And man, oh God, now the dark chocolate. I mean, the notes are so similar to the 10, but I feel like, again, I mean, they're just more restrained and refined here, and I got to go in for it, man. Sláinte.
Don't blame me if you drown a little bit as you take a sip of this stuff, man. It's intense and it's good.
Mm.
That's a dust breaker.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Did you get that cinnamon red hot on the mid palate?
Oh yeah.
With the candies? Holy shit. So for this, big, oily, powerful, much more intense than the 10. The 10, very refined. This, very aggressive. A lot of just full flavor, oiliness, dark, dried fruits, like potpourri almost, like a Christmas potpourri, cranberry, all that. And then you get this huge spice hit. It's red. It's like it's like cinnamon red hot candy. There's like a cherry, like almost, and I don't say it's like a cherry Jolly Rancher. So it's that kind of cloying cherry. It's a huge event on the back palate. It goes into a really nice finish.
Take another sip and watch all the new stuff that comes into play here. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is crazy. The fruits, oh my God.
Oh, killer. It's so thick. I mean, it's like such a viscous whiskey.
I love it because it's very Clynelish-esque on this one, I think.
Yeah. I'm still getting a nice hit of spice.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not as intense as the first one. It's a bit hot on the end. But it almost works. The juicy fruits are popping. There's the dark fruit, like dark chocolate covered orange, chocolate covered raisin, like is so rich and intense in this whiskey.
I have to tell you, Dram, the first one, I think you might have missed it unless you were here earlier, but we did the Edradour 2008 10-year signatory unchill filtered collection. It was spot on. I gave it a 4. Malt gave it a 4.5, I believe, right?
No, 4
as well. And we really enjoyed it. And we just started getting into this one, and the nose, we're both loving it, and the palate we're into right now.
Dude.
And good to see you too, Travis Faircloth. This is a bottle to get,
Travis.
guys.
How you doing?
This is definitely a bottle to get as well. I'm sold on both of these guys.
Yo, you know what's really, really interesting on this finish, which is going on forever? Toast, peanut butter toast, butter and grape jelly on toast, like a piece of wheat toast. Like it's just the savory, the richness, the sweetness, like balancing off each other. I'm even going to go out to say, like, if you ever had like General Tso's chicken, where it's sour.
You nailed it, dude.
That like sweet and sour spice, it's like if you made it a little less sweet and a little more of like a darker fruit sweetness, and that pepper spice, it's like a sriracha without the garlic, like a what do you call it, just like chili garlic, or not the chili garlic paste, it's like the hot pepper paste that they have, oolong, whatever the hell. Yeah,
dude, if I could pour this on some freaking rice and some like really good stuff, I would pour this son of a bitch all over the place. I'd lap it up like a lap dog.
Dude, seriously, I know how like ridiculous it sounds. This is like a plum chili Asian fusion chili sauce all just like over a nice healthy grain. I know how ridiculous it sounds. It's that.
No,
It's that good.
You nailed it, and we're not talking Panda Express bullshit here. We're
No,
talking
no.
we're talking like you went down to the 4 or 5-star high end, the best damn General Tso's you've ever fucking had in your life.
Dude, for real.
Kind of sauce. That's crazy.
Dude, that's what it is. It's like it's literally like
that's the great combination to explain the fruit, spice, and the savory combos you get. You nailed it with the whole when you started off with the savory notes. I was like, damn, he's nailing this. Yeah. Now let's add a couple of drops and see what you think with the couple of drops.
Yeah, let's do it. It's
almost sacrilegious to add water to it because it's so damn good, but
I'm interested if it's going to kill the heat a little bit. I mean, I expect heat on a 56%, but
it is 56 percent. So I think you're gonna really like the couple of drops on this one.
God, that nose is just divine. I mean, this is again. I keep going back. The best point of comparison is the 10 that we had. Like it has similar qualities. It's sweet. If we go by just base human taste, sweet, umami, and sour, or not sour, bitter. I'm sorry. Like it's those three things, but it's these very deep, dark red fruits. And
I love the combination of the umami, like with the umami and the sour and the sweet and the earthy tones that are going together. It's wow.
Grape jelly, grape jam. It's jam. It's darker. It's boysenberry, blackberry kind of thing. It's very dark fruit. But then there's the dry fruits, which again, it's like the Christmas kind of effervescent potpourri thing. You get some of the star anise.
There's some really nice fudgy qualities to the finish.
This is not a sweet whiskey. I mean, it is not a sweet forward whiskey. This is something that if you're looking for a sweet cherry bomb, like Abuna, which I think is much more on the sweet scale than this. This is something that has a lot more darker notes, and again, the slight funk from the what seems to me like kind of Springbanky Dunnage Warehouse is very prominent. The nose on this is amazing. I'm also getting okay, I have to think about how to explain this. Have you ever had a German Christmas? I know this is where we're going. This is how fucked up this whiskey is. Have you ever had a German Christmas cookie where it's like a Pfefferwessen, where it's got a bit of the anise, a little bit of that powdered sugar thing? It's like my mom. I'm German. My mom used to make German Christmas cookies. I'm getting a ton of that in this.
Oh man!
Especially with the water, it comes out so nicely.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by Dran. I'm sorry, man. I'm not knocking Panda Express. I just didn't want people to think I was comparing this beloved whiskey to something that came out of a Chinese takeout place.
Shots fired, man.
I have nothing against the Panda Express people. I'm sure they're perfectly fine. I just wanted to emphasize the quality of the General Tso's juice that we're dealing with here, because we're not dealing with anything that came out of. If it's not 5-star, dude, this is not. It's got to be upgraded. Put it that way.
Yo, this was. It's delicious, man. There's no two ways about it. It's the weird thing about this is it is all these antique dark notes, but somehow fresh.
I bet you that
a freshness to it.
I bet you that water helped a bit on the hotness too.
I think the water has done a lot of justice to this.
It even brings out more of with a couple of drops. You don't need much, but if you get a couple of drops, man, it brings so much more even fruit, mid-level berry kind of fruit. You get everything from your raspberries and strawberries all the way over to your blueberries, your blackberries, your freaking. I mean, there's schnozberries in this motherfucker.
The schnozberries taste like schnozberries, bro.
There are some schnozberries in this bitch right here. That's how good this is, dude. This is one of my favorite whiskeys.
Telex is all about it. Yeah. What is all right? I'm I'm about ready to go. Final thoughts.
You go first, because you know I'm going to go all in when I get.
Yeah. What is the price range on this?
Oh, this ran exactly 263 on the pounds. Now, if you go 263 on pounds, unfortunately, it's not a cheap dram, but
right. So this is about a $310 whiskey plus shipping.
360-ish, we'll say 360. But keep in mind, you're getting cast strength.
Right.
At 56.2, you're getting 21 years of maturation here.
Yep.
You're getting no chill filtration. You're getting no coloring. You're getting a craft like a Springbank type of craft you're getting with it.
I agree.
For way under Springbank prices. What the hell's wrong with you people? You should be buying 2 or 3 bottles of it right now. And I don't get paid a cent from Edradour to say any of this stuff. I don't know anybody that works at a distillery. I've never known anyone from there. I've never been to Scotland even in my life yet. And this is the best whiskey I have had up to now. That's how strong I felt about this one.
Yo, man, I mean, I'm going to be right there with you. This is fantastic. And actually, I think generous water, the only thing that threw me off a little bit was the heat. But a generous water sampling on this, again, it's cast strength. You can water it to your liking. I think that puts it above something like the 10 that we were having earlier. This is decadent, man. It's decadent. A blueberry cheesecake, a blackberry cheesecake.
Ooh, yeah.
It's decadent. It's Christmas spice. I mean, this is an expression that I think really hits the nail on the head of great cask, great age, and the fact that they're still putting it at 56.2% ABV. It's hard to complain about. I think the only thing that's going to be a challenge for anybody who's a whiskey head that would buy this is figuring out your water level. But I think we lost Telex. Uh-oh. Telex. I don't know. He left. It's a pricey dram.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure what the hell happened there. That was weird.
It's a pricey dram for sure. Off the top of my head, when I think about comparable heavy sherry bombs, I'm thinking Glengoyne 25. I'm thinking, Glendronach 21 Allardyce or 21 Parliament. I think this is right there with a Glengoyne 25. It's a little less on the refined side and more on the raw side, which I actually kind of appreciate personally. This is a 4.5 out of 5 for me. This is a buy it whiskey. If you want to invest in a sherry bomb, do it. And the only reason I won't go higher is just because I'm going to take the value into consideration and say that you could still get there are still some places you could get a Glengoyne 25 for around the same price. And I think you might get an easier time. And this is not an easy whiskey. But it is a rewarding one. So yeah, I'm 4.5 out of 5. I mean, this is fantastic. So I'm 4 out of 5 on the 10, 4.5 out of 5 on the 21. I mean, these are fantastic whiskeys. Nothing else to say about it.
I hear you, man. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was afraid when I came back. I was like, oh man, I hope the shit just didn't hit the fan and I killed it for everybody. I was trying to answer Dram's.
It was melting down the internet, bro.
I was trying to answer Dram's question and I accidentally killed the whole fucking stream. Thanks a lot, Dram. That panda got me.
Yeah, dude. Another reason not to go to Panda Express, though, ruin your live streams.
No, but Ben, I just want to make sure that he knew. Even though 360 is a lot of money for a whiskey, I'm not saying it's not. But dude, if you're going to drop three and a half bills on a whiskey, this is one I would drop it on. This is one, to me, that can hang with one of my all-time favorites, and we're talking Bruichladdich Black Arts 23. Now, I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying it can hang with it.
It's in the same conversation.
It's definitely, to me, in the same conversation. And this will be, we haven't done a Black Arts review So that might be a 5-star review at some point for me.
Yeah, that's a 5-star for me for sure.
If I ever get the 4.1 again, I would love to
I have 2
do
more
that
bottles
one.
of it. I got this one and 2 more bottles, so we could do it.
Oh my Lord, man, that's a 5-star whiskey all day long for me. I'm going to put this one up there as well. This one is my first whiskey that I could not fault. I could not find a real major or even little flaw in it. To me, I just love everything about it. From the price, the craft, the no chill filtration, the no coloring, the age statement, the ABV it being 56.2. It's easy drinking it neat or with water. I like it both ways. This is the only reason I have only that much left is because I've had to slap my hand every day because I'll be honest with you.
Bad Telex.
This is one of those whiskeys that I think about having because it's like, man, if I'm talking versus the Highland Park Dark versus the Deanston 20 versus the Macallan 18 versus any Oloroso sherried whiskey I've ever had, even the Glendronach, Allardyce or Parliament, any of those guys. Yeah. This one to me is the motherfucker of all time, dude. This is like the one. If I had to pick one, this is it. So far in my journey, I feel blessed to be able to taste a whiskey like this. This is how good this one was for me.
Right on. So you're going what, 4.75, 5?
I'm going 5 on this one, man. This is my first 5.
Here's the Chiron. We got a 5 out of 5, y'all. Telex the whiskey tech. He is pulling no punches. 5 out of 5.
Throw down.
Edradour.
The theme to this dram is if you ever heard of a band called Exodus, they have a song called Throwdown. This is the theme to this dram. It's Throwdown, night and day, dude.
Y'all, these are international whiskeys, and if you're the type of people that don't know about it, look at like Whiskey World, look at Whiskey International online, look at Hard to Find Whiskey. I mean, these are things you can find. You will pay a bit for shipping, but you will pay it. They're fair prices. This whiskey is stunning. Keep your eyes peeled. God, this thing is still going. You ever had strawberry milk? I have some of that going on right now. Like, it's that good. Like, this thing has just evolved and changed so much. I killed this entire sample without blinking an eye. I was just like,
man, you went through the whole thing already.
Damn. Oh, yeah, this is what I need in my life, man. Right now, this is what I need in my life. That's killer. It's killer. High praise, y'all, for Edradour. And as we were saying earlier in the beginning of the show, this is an interesting distillery in that they are owned by an independent bottler, Signatory.
Signatory. I mean, I don't have any Signatory bottlings yet, but you damn well but believe when I buy my next independent bottling, it's going to be a Signatory because of your perfection that you released with this, in my opinion.
I'm totally with you, man. And like, there's a couple other distilleries like Ben Romick, which is owned by Gordon MacPhail. And then there's the other option where it's like, or the other reverse of it, where it's Springbank owns Cadenheads. So they own an independent bottler versus they're an independent bottler that owns a distillery. This is absolutely killer. This is one of the best whiskeys I've had this year and best whiskeys I've had ever. It's not even close. I mean, this is right up there. So thank you, Telex, for this. Unfortunately, I do have to sign off. I have to, unfortunately, handle some things. But we will be here next week. Yeah, or I'll be here next week. Telex, I'm sure you're going to keep going.
Oh, I'll be here.
Yeah. And next week we're getting into some rye whiskeys. We're doing an E.H. Taylor rye. We're doing a local Pennsylvania rye. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you haven't yet, smash that thumbs up. If you are not subbed to Telex for some reason, hit that sub button. If you're not subscribed to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews, do the same. And Telex, I'll leave you to cross this around the finish line and we will talk next week.
No, I really appreciate it, man. I was just getting some details from Steven because he was asking me about the bottle that we just went over. There's only 20. There's only 2,027 of these bottles they made, unfortunately. But that's not a horrible yield. I've seen some releases from Springbank that's only 300 to 600 bottles, so you never know. With that said, I think you can find this pretty easily for the guys that want to invest in a new whiskey they haven't had yet. They want to, and if you haven't ever tried it at Edradour, this is the one I think. If you're going to go high end and try something, this would be the one I think to get. And if you're going to try to stay, if you don't have a lot of money to spend, but you want a great whiskey, that 2008 we started out with, that 10-year-old from the Unchill Filtered collection from Signatory, that is by far one of the.
If you're a Sherry fan, man, you got to get on. You got to get down on this Edradour stuff. It's worth the price.
It made me like blackberries, and that's saying a lot. I fucking hate blackberries, dude. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather eat shit than a blackberry. So that for me to say I like that whiskey and it tastes like blackberries with all those other notes we were going on with, it tells you how good that the quality is on that one.
Yeah, this was a real experience. Thank you so much, Telex. And I got to before I leave, shameless plug. I got a review dropping Friday. I have a live comparison review of the Edradour or the Kilkerran 10 or Kilkerran 12 versus the Kilkerran 16. So that'll be dropping on Friday. And Telex, I'll meet you next week for some serious rye whiskeys.
I can't wait, man. I really appreciate you sending these, and we'll be hooking up next week. And good luck to your work and stuff, man. I appreciate
you. Man. Be well. I'll see you guys later, man. Sláinte, everybody. Be well.
All right, guys. Yeah, that's crazy that how good that was, that first one, even with the notes. Yeah, he loves his blackberries, man, but I can't stand them. But I love that dram. I would still drink that all day long if it tastes like blackberries. It was so damn good. Paid to Lego and drink all day. I'd be happy, man. I can imagine. Scotch Down Under. Are you Australian, man? Is that true? If we have someone from Australia, that'd be pretty cool. I found one for around 300, but bought a bunch at auction this past week, having to hold off. No, I hear you, man. Next time you are in the mood for a whiskey, though, Steven, seriously, I would definitely. I don't see how you would be. I mean, this. Hopefully, this will make you feel better before buying. This beats the shit out of the Ardbeg Black on quality. So there you go. There, as I know, you probably were kind of thinking, well, he liked the black. Am I really going to like this one? But wow, man, it's night and day difference on the quality. I think on this one. Bourbon Battalion, good to see you. I'm not sure if I've seen you on the channel before. Glendronach 12 is running 70 now. That's crazy. To me, when I got into this, this is like going 5, 6, I think about 5 or 6 years ago when I started my little Scotch journey. The Glendronachs were going for here in Maryland, and they're on the higher end price for around 60 to 65. And even then, I thought it was a bit steep. When other 12s are going for like 55, 60, it was 65, I think, or 62, somewhere on there the last time I looked at the Glendronach 12. But that was, a few years ago. So if it's at 70 now, I mean, I know there's inflation, but you got to be careful about how fast you go up in these prices. It's crazy. Good to see you guys. Down under, could you get a job at Legoland here in Cali and carry a flask? Yeah, California is something else, man. Hey, buddy. Oh, cool. Aussie True Blue. Well, good to see you, man. You're welcome, definitely. And how'd you find out about the channel? I'm just curious, just for giggles. I usually working and lurking at this time. Okay, gotcha. $70. Oh, Canadian. Okay. Let me see what the exchange rate's going for now. 70 Canadian to USD is 55.6. That's actually cheap, man. I mean, because here in Maryland, And I'm talking 5 years ago, Glendronach 12 was selling for 65 American here. That's how crazy it is with these prices. And I mean, batshit crazy. Cheers, Telex will be here on here more. Yeah, I'm going to be here on here more as well. And you're more than welcome to, if you're into Scotch at all, we don't do a whole lot of bourbons, but we will be doing some on the side. We'll be, like he said, we'll be doing some Dad's Hat and some, oh, what was the other one? I think we're doing another rye next week. I can't remember, but actually, I've got it here. Let's see what he had. We've got the the Dad's Hat Billow Proof and the E.H. Taylor Rye we'll be looking at next week. That'll be a lot of fun. We usually don't go a whole lot out of the Scotch spectrum, but occasionally he talks me into it, so we'll be taking a look at that. Glendronach 12 is 45 value. I was about to call you the MF word, man. That's just crazy. See, this is what's nuts about West and East Coast prices. Glendronach, which is a Highland Scottish distillery, is more money in Maryland by $20. No exaggeration. And this is 5 years ago. It's probably actually more close to $30 difference. You can get it for $44 in Los Angeles. But if you come to Maryland, it's going to cost you 65 to 70 probably now. $70 American. That is insane. Something's wrong with that picture. I got to get my stuff overseas. Been on a signatory cast strength 12-year bat. Oh, Blair Athol. Oh, oh, I love Blair Athol, man. That Blair Athol Flora and Fauna bottle is true to my heart. 12-year, I think. If you ever find it, it's definitely worth a pickup. Yeah, 12-year. It's back there. That one in the navy blue box, but right there. It's really, 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 really good. And I haven't tried any independent bottlings, but if I ever get one, Signatory and Adelphi will be my top two picks. I guarantee you that. About a Glendronach 12 in Nebraska for 56. That's what it should be. I think 55 to 60 is the spot on price maybe for the Glendronach 12 as far as, what it should be worth. Yeah, you need to load up with the Glendronach 12 for your wife. That's for sure, man. Been watching okay, ages on and off. Well, I appreciate it, man. And if you're always lurking, that's cool too. I know how it goes. I'm an introvert usually. Crazy that I have hundreds of followers and I do this every Tuesday, but usually I'm pretty introverted. I don't like to talk to a bunch of people, but I guess when it's a camera, it's a lot easier to deal with that way. Expanding your palate, good deal, man. You can never get, I'm the same way with bourbon. Like I was born in Louisville, Kentucky, born and raised, left when I was about 20 years old, moved out to Oklahoma, moved up to Wisconsin, moved out here towards DC, Maryland area after that. And even though I've had my fair share of bourbon over the years, and we're talking high-end stuff too, even though it's not my preference, I'm not a big corn drinker. I like rye. I love malted barley. That's where my heart is. I'm not a big corn drinker, but it's good to dabble and go back. I do not like wheat whiskey at all. So that's another thing that I have to be careful of. But it's fun to learn from you guys, as well as hopefully you're learning a little bit about Scotch here too. Last bottle in a little store at Mill Out of Nowhere, bottled in 2019. Wow. Good to see you there, Scout. Dad's Hat, yeah, Pennsylvania Rye. Yeah, that one is close to Philadelphia from what he was telling me. I've heard of it, never had a bottle, so it'll be interesting to take a look at that. CA pays 200% intim. Oh, man. Let them have a win for sure. Yeah, that's some crazy-ass taxes. That's crazy, man. 200. Oh, good day, yeah. Pub will be open later on. Sounds good to me, man. That Flora and Fauna was my first Black Athlon. I'll send you some to Malt Muser. Make sure he gets some to you. Okay, yeah. If you're sending a little bit, I'll try to remind myself to say, hey, you remember that Blair Athlon you got from Daniel? You mind putting a little side little squirt in the side? Oh, that'll be a 17-hour stream. That would be something. The only time I've ever seen a stream like that was the Scotch Test Dummies, Scott and Bart. Man, they have some pretty good shows sometimes. Do the 12 hours of Boom. I was on their first show, man. Won their first prize too. That was pretty cool. I still have it. It's a spout and a signed picture I've got over here too. They those guys are too funny. I wish Scott well. I know he was dealing with this COVID bullshit for the last year, lost his sense of taste and smell, and has been building back. And I haven't had a lot of time to watch everything that he's doing. So if you're not familiar with the Scotch Test Dummies, definitely check him out. And wish Scott well. Hopefully he gets his senses back. It's very scary with this whole nightmare. The Signatory BA that is. Gotcha. I will definitely hit him up on that and see if 17-hour stream is reserved for Ken. Oh man, this is a throwback to the old days with just trading chat. Yeah, yeah. I I uh, I would do it more often. I usually just don't have a boatload of time. Plus, sometimes when you get towards the 12 o'clock hour, we've already had like 3 or 4 cast strength whiskeys. You know how that goes, man. This cocoa, yeah. I dig the cocoa, definitely. I love it too, man. 24, working a few hours on my side, but I can always catch the later ones. Yeah, good to see you there too, James. I see a bunch of, oh yeah. Ooh, yes. I am a huge Lefroy fan. For those of you not well versed in Scotch, we have, I see 3 distinct types of Scotch. You've got your non-peated, more just basic bourbon cask influenced whiskeys. Some are really good, and I've had my share of really well done Highland. Dalwhinnie 15 is a good whiskey if you're into just starting out. Uh, that's one of my favorites. Kind of reminds me of like Southern Cross, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Not young, but Crosby, Stills, Nash, and sipping on a little Dalwhinnie 15 if you're into the old yacht rock kind of thing. That's a pretty good taste. Also, then you've got your sherries. You've got your some other cask influences like your Sauternes, Manzanilla, Amontillado, whatever. But then you've got your peated stuff, and Lefroy is one of my favorite peated scotches next to Ardbeg and Kalila and some other ones. We won't get into all of them, but for the carriages, I'll start off with the 15-year-old they released for the Friends of Lefroy. To me, that one was decent, but not what I was expecting. It has some nice age, to it being 15 years, but it didn't wow me as much as I thought it was going to wow me. It wasn't bad per se either. It's a decent whiskey. Then let's go to the 2014 Amontillado cask. That's the oldest one I have up here. Now I have been lucky enough to have a 2013 Portwood. That is my favorite Carriages beyond all Carriages. The 2013 Portwood is the one to get if you can get it. It's extremely hard to find. It's usually auction only. Goes for hundreds of dollars. Is it worth it? If you can find it at maybe around 3, I would stop at 3. 250 to 300, 350 is where the range I would even consider. Once you get up above that, I mean, if you are pretty affluent, then maybe it's no big deal. To me, that's a lot of money, so you got to be careful. But it's definitely a great taste. I do love the Amontillado 2014, one of my top favorite whiskeys of all time. The 2015, I have actually not opened my present bottle I have up here, but I have had it a couple times before. I love the organic barley they used during that year at Lefroy. It's very organic barley tasting. There's no other like nuances as far as Madeira casks or anything weird. It's very upfront in your face, nicely peated whiskey. It's also one of my top favorite Carriages. I like the 2016 Madeira. That's the 2016 red one over there. I think it's great. Some people don't get into it very much, though. That one's a very divided whiskey. If you do like a mid-year cask, I think you will like that whiskey like I did. The next year was the 2017. That is the quarter cask. Malt loves that. That's his favorite. I liked it a lot too, but it wasn't my favorite. I tend to gravitate more towards the cask maturation on certain things like sauternes and, you know, a little more bang for my buck with that. He likes more, I think, sometimes a straightforward quarter cask in your face, you know, uh, feel. I think it's great. I think it's a really good whiskey, but it wasn't in my top three. But I do enjoy it. The next one's the Fino Cast 2018. Fino, I liked it a lot. It did pretty well across the board. It's one to pick up if you get a chance. The next one is the 2019 triple cast matured carriages. That's cast strength triple wood. I love that one. I did not like the triple basic one that much in comparison because I don't usually like woody whiskey, but this one, the bourbon esque notes that I was getting from it with the wood made sense to me a lot. So I really, really, really like that triple cast, the triple wood cast strength version, the carriages from 2019. That was great. Finally, the newest one that I've had is the 2020 port and wine cast matured. I was not a big fan of that one as much. Something I keep going back. I think I still have some left of that too. I keep going back to it and hoping that oxidation or something. To me, it's tough because I prefer a ruby port. I think there's tawny in that, and not to say tawny port's bad. It's just a preference, I think, with that. It's a quality whiskey, but I don't rate it as high as some of the other ones for me. If you like tawny port, then I would go ahead and grab the Carriages Port and Wine. It To me, there needed to be more of a ruby, sweeter deal going on to balance out some of the other notes I was getting, but I'm extremely picky. That's just the way that goes. Sorry, man. Wow, I'm way behind. I haven't heard about their new one that comes out this later this year, so I'm already eager to see what it is though. Yeah, hopefully you're getting into Scotch and yeah, 12 hours of boom. Does hours. Okay, that makes sense. The no-chill filter range. We're good. I have one more unopened, a 15-year-old 1996 Kalila. Wow, that sounds really good, man. Kalila is they're just so good. Even though they're a little vegetal in their what they offer up, it's still pretty good. 8 hours is regular time. Wow, man, 8 hours of a stream. That's insane. That is that's some dedication, man. No, that's cool. Yeah, I like doing both of these from time to time. If Scott ever got his senses back, he would get rid of Bart. No, you can't get rid of Bart, man. Bart has he's like me, I think, when it comes to like he can pick out some crazy ass notes that you normally wouldn't hear from somebody. Maybe Ralphie does this kind of thing where we'll pull out some crazy stuff like some like furniture polish and some pencil shavings and some Bondo putty and stuff like that. And it's not easy to split some of these notes out, but it's definitely worth it if you can get a guy like that. Yeah, the Dalwhinnie 15 is one of my favorite. If you're just getting into Scotch, I would say that's a really good one to start out with. I'm just now getting into Scotch again. If you've already been down the road and you're getting into it again, oh man, definitely I would say Glendronach 12, older. Don't get a chill filtered one, that's for sure. We talked about that earlier. Can't believe they're doing that. Get an older one of those, or like an Edradour is a really good sherry type Scotch if you're into sherry. Peat, I would do an Ardbeg Ugadal every day of the week. Really good whiskey. Has a little bit of both sherry and peat in it. Orange Beach, Alabama Glenlivet 12.84 at Russell's Reserve 10. Wow, insane prices. We'll be sober till I get back home. Oh man, you're at Orange Beach, Alabama now. Interesting, man. So you're far from. Are you far from Louisiana? I know everything's kind of bunched together down there south on the Gulf Coast. It's kind of hard because I know some of the coastline, Mississippi and Alabama, don't have much coastline. Florida and Louisiana like kind of take a lot of it up. So I always used to catch you back in the day after. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yep. Yeah, the only reason I didn't do with them after the fact on Thursday was they were doing a lot of after Discord shows, and it started cutting into people coming over after the show. I would be, hanging out with the Scotch for Dummies, and then all of a sudden they would be doing. I would start my after show, and then they would have this after show on their Discord. So I was like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of me doing this. So that's why I thought, well, maybe it's time, if they're getting bigger and bigger and doing their thing, it's time to maybe branch out and jump out of the nest and see what I can do on my own. And that's why I thought, well, maybe Tuesday might be the better deal there. And I still love the Dummies, don't have any issues with them at all. And I still talk to them on occasion here and there on the side. And Leanne, if you're familiar with those guys, you might already know about Scotch in the Bio. Leanne did a channel a while back. I don't know if she was regularly doing things, but I noticed recently she started saying that she was going to be doing more, I think, of a YouTube presence. So keep your eye out for Leanne doing Scotch in the Bio. I want to give her a shout out while I was thinking about that too. Oh man, wouldn't it be awesome if we could do like the Star Trek thing and just teleport, replicate some of this stuff? That'd be crazy. Oh man, a Texas whiskey ambassador, Glenfiddich 15 Solero. That's a good bottle. I like that one. Um, something about that. It's got some really nice fruit going on that you don't get it necessarily out of the 12. The 12's to me, I mean, I know some people gravitate more towards the Glenlivet versus the Glenfiddich versus the other Glens, that you normally see when you're starting out with Scotch. But I like both Glenfiddich and Glenlivet. The 12s, the 15s are both solid. I like them both. That's a solid bottle, and luckily I can get this at a speakeasy in Annapolis nearby if I'm out getting dinner. They actually have that Solera bottle on site, which is pretty nice. Not easy to find. Citizen of the Republic, yeah. Yeah, where is Richie Z? I haven't seen him tonight. That's a good question. Scotch Down Under. Silky, honey, spice. The mash bill, yeah, you taste who they are. It's so good. That's a good point. It's a rare gem that Diageo has that they don't even fucking realize it, which really pains me. Isn't it funny that you sit down and you think about some of these distilleries that Diageo, big business, has? I'm looking back here at my Flora and Fauna bottles. The Inchgour, very very underrated distillery. I would not recommend it for a entry level Scotch drinker at all whatsoever. It's very complex, it has some herbal interesting qualities to it that I don't think a lot of people would appreciate until they got their feet wet and went across. If you haven't had a Highland, a Speyside, a Campbelltown, an Isla, if you haven't done the regions yet, don't jump in on Blair Athol or some of these other ones like Inchgour, especially Inchgour. But if you have, definitely check out Inchgour, one of the best distilleries out there. Dalliowayne, another one that's really good. Ben Rennis, and Blair Athol. Those 4 or 5 distilleries are so damn good, and you only can get, if you're lucky, either a Flora Fauna bottle or some really crazy age 27, 30-year-old that costs a fortune. So I wish that these guys would put a little more, you know, emphasis on some of these single malts that they have, because they've got some really nice gems. Wow, that was long-winded. Telex is taking lessons from the mash bill. I want to see these two together on a show. I'm not sure to take that as a compliment or as an insult there, Cohen. I was trying to be detailed for Jean because he asked me a specific question about the Carriages series. And unfortunately, I can't go to the 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 12. I'm missing like 5 years from the very start of the Carriages series. I would love to have them. I only know one friend, Mr. Lee. Lee Evolved on Distiller. I call him Mr. Water, Aquaman for a reason. He does not add water to whiskey, but man, he's got great taste. And he is the only one I know that has a 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 Carriages that man, I gotta talk to him and see if I can talk him into selling some of that collection if he has some unopened bottles, because it would go to a great home. Do you ever blend with Woodford American Malt for cocoa notes? I personally have never tried blending Scotch with other types of whiskey like American malts or Irish or things. But you bring up a good point. I wouldn't be opposed to, you know, being adventurous to try it, as long as you keep your peats and your sherry notes and your some of your stuff, that makes sense when you're blending. If you try to blend like sherried with peated with, um, if you're all over the place when you're doing a Solera bottle or a blend, you're asking for trouble. You got to be careful. You got to pick a theme. I'm going to do at least just peated whiskey, and I'm just going to stick with peated, and that's it. That makes sense. Or I'm just going to stick with sherried whiskey that doesn't have any peat in it, or doesn't have any crazy extra cask influences like Sauternes, Mezzanilla, that kind of thing. I'm just going to stick with straight up like Oloroso, or I'm just going to stick up with, straight up PX finishes or whatever. That makes a lot of sense when you're doing blends. So you got to be careful about that. I personally started a Solera bottle that's going to be all Oloroso and PX, Oloroso PX sherried finishes, maturations. I've got a really good half of a bottle already, and we'll be getting to the weeds with malt when I give them a surprise taste here down the road. It'll be a lot of fun. Virgin Oak, man, and the 12. Those are great starting whiskeys right there. The Virgin Oak is a new daily sipper for me. I love that whiskey. Yeah, great advice on those two there, man. The only difference is Telex tells us what he thinks about a whiskey. Mashbill tells us what he thinks and asks others and never gets to the whiskey. Well, we don't want to do that, that's for sure. This year, Carriages is the combination of a bourbon and PX cask. That's right. I did see that from Malt last week on a sneak preview, and I am excited because I love PX and I love bourbon cask finishes. I love the Lefroy PX cask they've done previously, a travel retail exclusive. It's a 1 liter. It's well worth a pickup if you can get it. If you like PX finishes or maturations, I think I think that might be a triple maturation. I can't remember, but it's definitely worth the time and the effort on that one. She just launched her channel. Oh, cool. Okay, nice. Well, hopefully she'll get a lot of good following. I haven't really watched her do any tastings in a while. We did a nice blind together. It's been a while back. She gave me a blind to do when we were doing Scotch for Dummies, kind of a trade-off salsa swap, we'll call it. And I sent like 3 out, and someone else, there was a bunch of us that sent 3 whiskeys out just randomly, and she sent 3 really good independent winners and one of them was ironically was a really good Dalmore independent release. It was really good. I want to say one might have been a Blair Athol. I can't remember, but the 12 was Orange Zest. Oh, Whiskey Trek. That sounds good. I like Trek, man. I've been watching all of the Voyagers. We're down to the last two recently. My wife and I have been watching all of them, and we only have two episodes left of Voyager. Then we're going to be doing all the Deep Space Nine. That's our favorite series, and I haven't seen it since Deep Space Nine was out in release and syndication like right afterward, but in the late '90s. So it's been a long time. I miss Odo and the shapeshifter and all that mess. It's going to be fun. Never stops to breathe once in a while either. Wow. Hopefully I'm not that bad. Richie always tries to help channels that he feels needs help. He's probably helping a smaller channel. Yeah. That is probably on Barbara Bogan's channel right now. That makes sense, and I don't blame him. You can't be everywhere at once. But he just hosts a talk show, not a whiskey show. You've been writing a lot tonight. That's a good thing, isn't it? What don't you or anything? What don't you or anyone else think about Macallan Classic Cut 2017? I'm about to open it with you fine fellas. Wow. I feel honored that you're pulling out a nice bottle like that. The Classic Cut that I was lucky enough to pull down was the 20. I want to say it was 19, but it might have been the 18. It was a while back, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. To me, I like the Classic Cut very early on, though. To me, you don't want it to over oxidize because I was getting a boatload of sulfur out of it the more it oxidized. But I'm talking about the 20. I want to say it was the 2019. It might have been the 2018, but it definitely was not the 2017. So keep that in your radar. But I think it's really good, and I drank it fast, and I'm glad I drank it fast because I really wanted to get it before I got a boatload of those sulfuric notes out there. I appreciate it, man. If that was to me, that might have been the Cohen, actually. I don't know, but that's okay. Good for Bourbon Cast Maturation. That needs a kick. I wish I could find the Classic. Yeah, 2017 MSRP. That would be nice, wouldn't it, Cohen? I'd never had that earlier version, so I'd be definitely keen to have a little nip of that. 115 shipped. 115 shipped is a good price for that, because I remember it was 110, 109. I think when I bought it retail. I enjoyed the CC 2017-18. I think the one I had was the 18. And I did enjoy it, but I enjoyed it quick. Yeah, usually $15 after taxes. The store had 3 more. That's a nice deal. Always be sure that you get the ages correct when you talk to these online stores. I had a perfect example of this is that 2014 Carriages that I was lucky enough, the yellow bottle right there. The yellow bottle I found on an online store in California that was not known for selling scotch. They were known for selling tequila. And I saw it and I thought, you know what? This bottle, and this was in I want to say 17. So it was already a few years old. And I was thinking to myself, this is a yearly release. I damn well better make sure this is the one I want before I send them any money. Because once you send money, you know how hard it is to get it back or make it a good trade if there's a problem. So I called the store specifically with a regular old phone and was like, hey, I see that you have the little 40 Carriages for $99. And it does have the picture of the one I want, but I want to make sure that picture is the same one that you've got in the store. Sure enough, the lady put the phone down. She went and looked, and after it took a while, but after a few minutes, she came back and was like, "Yep, it's a yellow bottle." And I was like, "It says 57.4% for the ABV," because thankfully at the time Laphroaig was doing ABVs every year based on the year of the release. The 0.1% was based off of the year. So the 0.4 was the 2014, the 0.5 the 2015, the 0.6, etc. So she verified it was the 57.4, whatever it is. Might be 51.4. I'm doing this off of memory, but it was based off of that year. So I knew it was the 2014, and I'm like, sold. I'll buy it right now. So got it shipped, out, and everything is peachy keen, happy camper. I told Mr. Lee about the sale, and I'm like, hey man, they had this bottle. I can't guarantee they still have this one, but you might want to give them a call and buy it. So Mr. Lee went online and he made the mistake of buying before calling. And sure enough, they sent him the 2015 version that he already had afterward. So I must have been lucky to get the last one they had. But moral of the story is, call before you buy. It makes the most sense. Take the time to spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, make the phone call. Because I don't know about you, but to me, $100 is a lot of money. Poured a Black Athol in your honor, man. Oh, I appreciate it. Blackadder 88, 15 year at 58.9. Oh, 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 oh. You're killing me, man. You're killing me. Oh, man. I've heard Blackadder has some really good releases. I haven't heard any bad ones yet. Have you had any bad Blackadders, Steven? 1988. Oh, great year, 15-year release. 58.9% is a beautiful age statement where you can add a couple drops and still be at cast strength. That's the ideal. And man, I have a feeling that's not chill filtered or colored by any means. I would be surprised if that was going on with that bottle, man. I appreciate it, Steven. That's a hell of a pour. I'm gonna have to find something like that at some point for Blair Athol when I'm doing the whole independent journey that I'll be taking after we get through some of these distilleries. That's a great price for the 2017. Can you get two? Oh wow! I'll buy one and you can have the other two. The 2017 is the only one worth drinking, in my humble opinion. Wow. Is there a reason, Stephen? And Stephen is a great resource for some of these higher end. If you want to know a good year versus not such a good year, what to shell your money out for versus not. Definitely take his word at a good level. The reason why I was not too keen, I think it was the 2019 was the one I had. At first, when I first cracked the bottle open, I was like, yeah, I get what I'm looking for. But I swear, after like a few months, it seemed like it got overly sulfuric. And usually I'm not opposed to sulfuric tones. This one was like really in my face to the point where I was like, it's got this like ultra dryingness that's coming along with. I don't mind sulfuric tones, but if you put really ultra sulfur with ultra dry, that to me is just a turn off. So that's why I'm like, drink it fast. So did you get that off of anything else, Stephen, that you were drinking over time with these? Or what was it that turned you off of some of the newer classic cuts? I'm just kind of curious on that one. Good deal, man. Oh, sounds good to me. Is the highest ABV and the highest sherry content. That is a good sign, yeah. Red Tops on the classic cut was only done in 2017, and it's the only fully sherry matured classic cut. I'll have to take that into account. Yeah, everyone's saying fully, unless he's mistaken. Definitely let him know if he's off the cuff. But I think you might be onto something there. It's not the first time I've heard of that. Steven will definitely let us know if you guys are correct or not on the if it's the only fully sherried and if it's the only one that well, Steven already said it's the only thing that he thinks is worth drinking, so that's a lot to say right there in itself. I'll have to take another look at that one. Yeah, I definitely was not the 2017. I think I had the 2019 was the one. But thankfully it was that, not the 2020, because that's the one I heard that was really not up to snuff. I'm not sure if it's one of those batch things where you get the first one and then you get the second, third, fourth, fifth cut, and by the time you get to fourth or fifth, you're kind of like, eh. I think that's what happened with some of the Glendronach batches. Once you get to like batch 6 or 7, it seems like what? Or the what was the other batches that had some oh, the Tamdu batch strength stuff. I've heard batch 1 is phenomenal, which I did enjoy it. The 2, 3 I enjoyed, but does it get lesser as you go along? Probably, to a certain extent, I imagine, on some of these. To give perspective to the 2017, I'm drinking it now. It's damn delicious, whatever it is. No, I hear you there, man. High quality sherry, though, for sure. The Glenelg cast strength batch 3 is great. Is the batch 2 and batch 1 not great? Or is the batch 3 better than 2 or 1? That's my question. These are the things we need to know when you're doing batch comparisons. 2017 is fully sherry and darker than the others. Okay. Well, I'll have to keep my eye out for a bottle of that because I've never seen that in the wild that I can remember. But I don't look at years very often. I might have very well seen it and not even realize it. Looking at the 2018 bottle now, and it states matured exclusively hand-picked sherry season casks. Here is, I should say, Spain. I like the batch 3 over batch 2. Okay, well that's very important to know because it does make a difference with some of these batch releases. Also, isn't it those Edradour's porous memorials? It isn't those Edradour porous memorials. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Daniel. Let me know what you meant by that statement. I'm kind of lost on that one. All of the classic cuts are sherry seasoned, but I think the 2017 has the most sherry influence. It pales in comparison to the old cast strengths, though. So yeah, the Macallan cast strengths, I'm sure, are like insanely good, but getting that at a reasonable price is probably not the easiest thing either. But 2017, I'll have to remember that. It's a good year for the classic cut. And the Glenelg 3 batch. It sounds like those are the best to look for. Yes, and higher ABV as well. Cast strength version of the 12. That's awesome, man. The 2020 is the first one that is ex-bourbon in series season. Okay, that explains why people were like, "Oh, you're so lucky to get the 2019 versus the 2020 because of the change to the ex-bourbon." And yeah, I'm more of a fan of a pure sherry. I'm a very much a sherry head, just as much as a peat head. And I prefer, if I do have a peated whiskey, I prefer there to be sherry there as well. So it's kind of a funny. I'm in the whole, not only do I love the Ardbeg Ugadal, but I love the Lagavulin Distillers Edition, the Talisker Distillers Edition. I like some of these really, really weird, but more sherry forward offerings with my peat. So the batch 4 just won an award for best Scotch. Wow, cast strength 10. I'll have to keep that in mind. I don't think I've had that one. Oh, I'm not doing that either. Yeah, not spending the money for those old cast strengths. I don't blame you there. 2016 was delicious, I imagine. Yeah. Just saying that 2017 isn't as good as the 10 cast strength or the other Edradour cast strength versions that you've had. Gotcha. So if you're gonna shell it out, yeah, you better get it for like 110 if you're gonna get the classic cut, because any more than that, you might as well get an Edradour. It sounds like $700 to $1,200 at auctions. That's just crazy money. Very good. I'll have to keep my eye on that. Peat head trumps over being a sherry head, but the winner is sherry peat head. Yes, I second your cowboy emoji with emoji emoticon. What do you call those? You know what I'm getting at. I second your cowboy and big two big glasses there. Crazy for NAS. It is, man. Well, I really appreciate you guys hanging out and having a little chat with me after the fact. It's always fun, and I'll try to do this more on occasion after if Eric has to head out early, like tonight. Deanston 12 Madeira cast finish 55.6. That sounds glorious. I'm trying to think if I've had a lot of Deanstons. I'm not sure if I've had a Madeira cast finish from them. I do love a Madeira cast, like I was talking about that Carriages from 2016. So I'll have to I'll have to pick that one up on the side if I can. Yeah, the good on Loch Gorham from Kilholman. Kilholman's got some glorious whiskey too. Yeah, I wouldn't go above 120. I think on a classic cut. I mean, even for an older version, I'm not sure if I would go crazy money on that. That's it's hard when there's so much really good stuff for so less out there. Like that first one, this Edradour 2008 10-year 46%, man. That was pretty damn nice. And if you do have a little extra money and you're not afraid to take a little bit of a gamble, it's not much of a gamble because, man, these guys know where it's at. Definitely check out this guy. This is my first 5 out of 5 whiskey. You cannot get much better than that. But sadly, 2,027 bottles is not very much. But Distilled 95, bottled 2017, Oloroso cask finish, 56.2. I can't say enough good stuff about this glass. So hopefully, those that are wanting to find it, you get a good option to grab it at not such a high price. If you can get it under $360, then I definitely commend you. And tell me what you think after the fact. Come back to this review and let me know. Telex, I thought it was god awful, or hey man, this was like the best advice I think I've ever gotten to pick this up. Or it could be like, yeah, it was okay. I could see where you liked it, but I didn't like it as much. But I thought it was pretty decent. Feel free to drop those comments as well. I like hearing everything from you guys on after the fact. How did I do as far as, did you get the notes that I was giving out of it too? Things like that. I'm definitely don't mind a little constructive criticism on occasion. He just ordered it. Wow, that was fast, but no, I do think it is that good. I don't think you would be disappointed. Right along with that Glencaddam 21, I think was another really high-end, great 21-year whiskey. And we'll be taking a look at some other ones here. The Tobermory 21 we'll be looking at on the 20th. The Balvenie 21 we'll be looking at on the 27th. And look at the Deanston 17 Organic PX on the 11th. We'll be bringing it back down home, doing a Linkwood 12 Flora and Fauna on the May 18th. And then we'll be maybe looking at a Glenrothes. That should be fun. An Auchentoshan 21. I won't go into details on that one yet, but we'll have a little fun. Speyburn 25 will be fun. Old Pulteney 18, the new one, and the 15. And we've got that. That Emerald, man. Oh, I've been sipping on that Emerald over the Easter, Stephen, and that was pretty damn good, I have to say. We'll be doing some a good show on that one together with Stephen and Malt for the Emerald Atama peated portwood. That'll be a lot of fun. And if someone doesn't like it, they probably are Tullamore guys. Isn't that the truth, man? I mean, this is how you do whiskey in 2021. You don't color it, you don't chill filter it, you offer it at cask strength, and you put an age statement on it that's worth a damn. The end, period, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, ... exclamation mark. That's how I feel about it. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Glenfiddich 12. Now I want Pete Port Charlotte 10 later on this evening. That's a good jump, man. Start out with Glenfiddich 12. Get your palate a little wet. Yeah, we'll be doing that show really soon too, man. Lots of good ones on the horizon, and I can't wait to sip some more with you guys. I really appreciate you stopping by. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't already. I appreciate it. Same for Malt. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. I appreciate it. Subscribe to Malt if you haven't. If you enjoy what we're doing, and hopefully see you guys here soon on if not sooner than definitely by next Tuesday. Hopefully everybody's getting their shots. I'm finally scheduled to get mine on the 16th, the first one, and a month out the second one. It feels like forever, but I've already waited a year. So what's another month or two, right? Hopefully you guys are able to get it if you haven't already. And once we get this, I cannot wait to meet up with some of you guys and enjoy some whiskey on the side. I'll be definitely doing some traveling as soon as I get this, I think, on the side, within reason. I might not do planes right away, but I might jump in the car and drive to Tennessee or something. You never know. We'll see how I feel down the road. But Sláinte file for now, guys, and hopefully everybody's having a great week, and hug everybody really close, and I hope everybody had a good holiday, Passover or Easter or whatever you celebrate. And Sláinte for now, guys.